Eberechi Eze ripped apart as Arsenal teammate did more in 5 minutes. Eberechi Eze struggled to have an impact during Arsenal's win over Athletic Bilbao before the man who replaced him, Gabriel Martinelli, changed the Champions League match from the bench. Eberechi Eze has been told his level will have to jump up after an underwhelming Champions League debut for Arsenal. Steve McManaman called out the new signing, who was outshone by Gabriel Martinelli when he came on. Mikel Arteta's side began their European campaign with a 2-0 win at Athletic Bilbao, owing to goals from 2 of their substitutes. Martinelli needed just a minute to make an impact when he came on in the 70th minute, replacing Eze. The Brazilian scored the opener before Leandro Trossard made the game safe late on. Eze was making just his second Arsenal start, having played against Nottingham Forest at the weekend. He made his debut off the bench at Liverpool several weeks ago, but has been warned he will need to get used to better opponents now he's left Crystal Palace. McManaman told TNT Sports Martinelli did more in 5 minutes than Eze did in 70 minutes. Eze will watch that performance tonight when he goes back and say, this is a different class of opposition. They're quicker, stronger than he faced in the Premier League with Crystal Palace, and he knows his level will have to jump up. You're now playing big boy football in the Champions League. If you want to compete, you have to be quicker. You have to be better than he showed tonight. Eze was very much the leading light at Palace, helping them win the FA Cup and the Community Shield in 2025. At Arsenal, his quality complements a number of other stellar names, and Arteta is still finding out how best to use his summer signing. Martin Odegaard has commanded the role of the team's playmaker, but is set for a spell on the sidelines, potentially allowing for someone to step up in a central position. Out wide, Arsenal have the likes of Martinelli, Eze, Bukayo Saka and Noni Madueke to pick from. It has increased the competition, but Arteta maintained that those who come off the bench have as big a role to play as those starting this season. Martinelli's form has been up and down for months, but his boss was thrilled to see him produce the perfect response en route to being named the player of the match. He said, "I was sure that Gabi was going to react like that. He raised the level to Gabi and he was going to do that. He has such a mentality. He's a player that is constantly willing to learn and improve himself, very demanding with himself. That's the moment that hopefully is going to give him the confidence again to go, because he's done a stunning play." Mikel Arteta, given sack warning as former Gunners transfer chief, finds new club Mikel Arteta's Arsenal will return to domestic action against Manchester City on Sunday after opening their Champions League campaign away to Athletic Bilbao on Tuesday. Arsenal began their Champions League campaign against Athletic Bilbao on Tuesday night, but attention will soon turn back to the Premier League. Mikel Arteta's side looked sharp in their victory over Nottingham Forest last Saturday and have the joint best defensive record in the competition, but there's a real test on the horizon. The Gunners have already taken on Manchester United and Liverpool away from home, and Manchester City are next up on Sunday. City will have a little less preparation time though, with their European campaign getting up and running on Thursday against Napoli. With the exception of the defeat at Liverpool, Arteta's side have looked sharp in the league. They finished 10 points off the pace in an injury-hit 2024/25 campaign, but will hope a busy summer has left them better equipped to put up a serious fight for top spot this term. Mikel Arteta has secured 3 successive runner-up finishes to put Arsenal very much back among the big boys domestically. Questions are beginning to be asked over how long he can go without a major trophy, though plenty of fans are simply happy to be over the difficult years which came before his arrival. Arteta's achievements were in focus before the trip to Bilbao, and that's one of today's topics of discussion. Former Premier League striker Stan Collymore has warned Mikel Arteta he risks the sack if Arsenal have another season without a trophy. Arteta led his team to the FA Cup in 2020, but has been unable to add to it since. Does Arteta need to get his hand on silverware this season? Without a doubt, Collymore told 10 Bet Casino, arguing the amount of money the Gunners have spent makes a trophy a must. The pressure is on Mikel Arteta and Arsenal to win something. When I say win something, he'd be able to limp on if he won one or both League Cup and FA Cups. That would be taken as some kind of proof of a change. But really, he's got to get his hands on the Premier League or the Champions League this season. Former Arsenal transfer chief Jason Ato is back in the Premier League, joining Brighton as their new sporting director. Ato held an equivalent role with Arsenal on an interim basis in between Edu and Andrea Berta, and was heavily involved in the move to bring Martin Zubimendi to North London. I'm honoured to be appointed sporting director at Brighton and Hove Albion, and I'm very grateful to owner Tony Bloom, CEO Paul Barber, and the board for this opportunity, Ato said. This is a special club, admired across the footballing world for its culture, ambition, and smart thinking, all of which has underpinned some remarkable progress in recent years. To be joining at a time when there is such a strong desire to build on those excellent foundations, innovate further, and bring success is incredibly exciting. I'm looking forward to getting started and working with and supporting both our head coaches, Fabian Herzler and Dario Vidosic, and their respective playing squads. David Raya has sung the praises of club and international teammate Martin Zubimendi. Summer signing Zubimendi scored his first 2 Gunners goals against Nottingham Forest, smashing home a volley from the edge of the box and following it with a late-headed effort. He's incredible, Raya told club media when speaking about his compatriot. I've shared the dressing room with him with the national team, and now he's here, he's even surprised me even more. He's a player that's so intelligent. He knows how to play for the team. He doesn't play for himself. His positioning in defence and attack is incredible. It's a credit to have him. UEFA's Champions League rule changes to Premier League clubs including Arsenal and Liverpool. The 2025/26 Champions League season gets underway, with the Premier League representatives including Arsenal, Chelsea and Tottenham all in action and set to feel the pinch of UEFA's new rules. UEFA have revealed 2 significant Champions League rule alterations that will impact Premier League sides over the forthcoming campaign. Premier League sides commence their respective European charges over the coming week. Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Manchester City and Newcastle are set to represent the Premier League. The Gunners face Athletic Bilbao in Spain, while Enzo Maresca's Chelsea welcome German champions Bayern Munich. Following their Europa League triumph last season, Tottenham have been paired with Villarreal for their opening clash. Meanwhile, Newcastle take on Barcelona, Liverpool host Atletico Madrid, and Manchester City kick off their campaign against Italian champions Napoli. This campaign marks the second year featuring the restructured league stage format, which UEFA introduced last term. After its inaugural season, European football's governing body has opted to implement a minor adjustment to the regulations. It has been confirmed that any side securing an automatic quarter-final berth will host the second leg of that tie at home. UEFA's revised regulations of the Champions League document states, seeded teams, i.e., teams ranked 1 to 4 after the league phase, play the return leg at home in the quarter-finals, and teams ranked 1 and 2 also play the return leg of the semi-finals at home. If a seeded team is beaten in any round, the team that eliminates them takes over their seeding position in the bracket path. The higher ranking for seeding purposes is not recalculated. After each round, Arsenal were among the clubs caught out by that regulation last season, having secured automatic qualification only to discover their quarter-final second leg, with Real Madrid would take place at the Santiago Bernabeu rather than the Emirates Stadium. Meanwhile, alterations have been made to squad regulations. Clubs are presently